This is Between Hook Sets. I'm Jason Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Kurt Underhill from the Fishing Crew.
What is going on, buddy?
Oh, just excited for tonight. History in the making, or at least in my mind, I think it's history, because how often do you get this group of guys together who have state record walleye, the guy that designed and named the bait? You know, I mean, it just doesn't happen. Not every day.
We didn't even advertise because this came in as a late entry from, I was talking to Benny Spies, and he came up with this idea and shot it over. So a lot of people don't know who we all have on tonight. So they're ready to hear from Keith and Brian from Walleye Nation Creation, but they don't know that we have Aaron on.
Hey, Aaron.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Good.
Boy, I tell you, long time no talk there, buddy.
Yeah.
So you held the state record for approximately 15 days.
Yeah, and not very long.
We'll go down the record books forever as being a state record holder.
Yep. I told I believe it was your mom. She had commented and said, bummer, but I'm like, well, it's always going to be a state record. That's never going to change, So right. It's one of those, it's a family story that will stick with your family forever. And as long as we're in the outdoor industry, we're going to talk about it because it was super special. It took 21 years for that record to be broken, and you broke it, and it just didn't last. But there are some saying Keith's record isn't really going to last that long either. So your 16-pound, 8-ounce record walleye was massive. I mean, it was a brute, it's awesome. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is you're still going to go down with one of the greatest fishing stories in my mind of all time.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
So, I mean, no matter what, it's going to be hard to top your fishing story on that one. So,
right.
I mean, so what has been the days to come since we last talked of the state record? Is it at the taxidermist?
Yep, it is. Yep.
What kind of mount are you going to do?
I'm not really sure yet. We're kind of talking about things, but I'm going to get a couple Cisco's into play with it and my crankbait. So
awesome.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. I'm sure your phone had blown up for a couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
Different people, and to hear your story, our podcast got shared quite a bit out there with different organizations. So hopefully we saved you a little bit of headache by getting it out of the way right away.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
So
what have the last 2 weeks been like? Did you in the back of your mind, because everybody had said it right away when you caught it, or I shouldn't say everybody, but I talked to a lot of people that said that record's not going to stand very long. Did you kind of think that a little bit in the back of your mind, or?
Yeah, for sure. I even told my buddies, I said, I'm surprised it lasted a week, to be honest. That fishery down there right now produces such big fish that it's crazy. And I hate to say it, but I think there's a bigger one out there yet.
So I just had this talk with somebody earlier today, and they're like, how is our fishery going to go downhill from here? And I said, I don't think so. I think, we're catching a lot of big fish. A lot of big fish are being caught, but the bait up there is awesome from what I'm hearing. The bait down in the southern end is incredible. So I think personally, I think the fishery is going to do well. I don't know if we're going to see massive big fish coming out of it, but I think the fishery's in a good spot. What's your thoughts on that, Aaron? You fish that stretch of water quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's good down there. Those fish don't push up here a whole lot. For some reason, they come up in the spring, they spawn, and right back down to South Dakota they go. So we only get to see a little bit of it. I've never seen anything like it, like I seen down there. So that's pretty special down there right now. I think it's good.
I think it's going to remain the way it is unless something catastrophic happens. Look at the number of 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s that are coming out of that system. You know, you pulled a 16-pound, 6.5 pounder out of there. We've got almost an 18-pounder that came out of there. All of those year classes just keep growing unless something happens that devastates that walleye population. Those 11, 12, 13s, 14s, I'm sure there's a 15 and another 16 in there. So, you know, you think about the fact that the river was down and we created all that forage along this shore, and then the water came back up again. I just think it's bringing those big walleye out of 70 to 100 feet because it's easier to find food. And you know, it's so simple to eat up shallow in Oahe right now that they can't help but move up into the shallow water.
Yep.
Well, they're predator fish, right? And so they're going to follow bait, and that's what people, you know, all summer we heard people catching them shallow. So I think, like you said, the bait is changing with the you know, gizzard shad that they're putting in and stuff, and they're chasing the different bait. They're not chasing, you know, the smelt in 80 foot of water all year now because they can come up shallower.
Well, and you know what they're chasing?
You bet. You bet.
Well, I suppose without further ado, we better bring on the guy that took you off the throne after 15 days.
Yep. Bring him on.
Hey, Keith, how's it going?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. It's great to have you here.
So you've been going up there, from what I understand, for a while, a few years doing this, and you're pretty, I know you from fishing tournaments with us, and you're a pretty avid fisherman, and a good one at that. Did you, I mean, when you put in last Saturday morning, what were you think? Like, you're like, I'm going to get it, or I'm just going out fishing?
I was going out probably 5 or 6 big bites, I guess. And this one came, so it was such a boring day. I went out, put the lures in the water, and she came within a half hour, and I had to go in. It was like the shortest day of my life. We'll go fishing.
And
good reason to have a short
question
day.
that came in, and it says, was Keith solo?
I couldn't get no one to fill the seat, so I wasn't going to make that. No, it's the perfect storm going on up there right now.
So I've had a few conversations with people, and they're like, I couldn't imagine netting that fish by myself. I said, if I was the fourth guy in the boat doing nothing, I'd have been freaking out. So what was that like? I mean, bringing that fish in all by yourself?
I've lost a lot of big ones by myself, sticking them in the net, hooking the crankbait on the net, popping them off. And I've learned that the bigger the net, the better. The longer the handle, the better. I mean, my basket's probably 3 foot round, and I think the handle's probably 15 when we get it all extended. I mean, it's the beast, and it makes it easy to get them in there, I guess.
And a guy that knows how netting a 17 pounder by yourself, Andy, who did on the Columbia River a few years ago, knows just how stressful that can be.
Well, yeah, I just netted a little tiny 29-incher by myself, and I freaked out. I think my pants were wet. I'm not kidding you. I was so scared and so nervous. I just shook.
So you're out by yourself. The rod, I mean, first fish of the day, the rod goes back. You get it, you get it all in the boat, all by yourself, and then what?
We've been catching so many big fish. We just kind of got the program, get a picture of them back in the water. So I set up my camera to get a picture of it, made sure I had that reaper in its mouth of it, and I'm holding it up, and I'm like, holy cow, this thing is a slob. I put the scale on it, it was banging off of 18 pounds. I picked up my crap. I got the hell out of there.
Don't blame you. I don't blame you for not hanging around and watching a Vikings game and doing some other stuff.
The direct opposite of Aaron. Aaron's like, well, we got one that's okay. Let's get a bigger one for the day.
Right.
Yeah, isn't that something? Yeah, we should, as long as we're talking about getting up there and getting it weighed, let's give a quick shout out to South Whitlock Resort. They handled you there in perfect fashion. They had the scale to get things done. Randy and Pat and Jessica took care of you really well. So, congrats to you on the big fish, and thank you to South Whitlock for making sure that we certified a new state walleye record.
Yeah, we didn't mess around with this one.
But when you got it weighed, you had to wait. You caught it Saturday, but you had to wait till Monday with Game Fish and Parks to certify it.
Yep.
And what was the reasoning behind that? Just because nobody wanted to go in, or
That's thoughts. I don't know.
that just when you said I got to wait till Monday, I'm like, what? Like it blew my. So Aaron, you didn't do anything wrong, I guess. Just wait. I mean, that's what Game Fish and Parks may keep do. So.
Yeah.
So what was the catch like when you hooked it up? How did it go, and when did you realize that this was probably a pretty special fish?
It hit like a northern, but we're going so slow right now. So when they hit it, they're just creaming that thing, and it's just busting the rod holders damn near off the boat. And we've caught a bunch of catfish in the top of the head, and they pull down pretty hard, and they dig too like a walleye. And I didn't know what it was. I pulled the snap weight off. We got her up, and there's probably about 10 feet left on the line counter. I still haven't looked at her. I just got the net ready. When I lifted, I put her in the net, and it was just like, that was it. That was it.
So wait a minute, you were snap weighting two by yourself, and you had to pull the snap weight off.
I like the snap weighting because I watch it on the live scope out the back. I keep an eye on that. I mean, it's crazy how many fish will follow your lures for miles and not do nothing. So keep an eye on it that way, and it's down and dirty. Keep them easy in and out.
I've watched guys lose fish with two people in the boat taking the snap weight off.
When you it's got that line stretched out so tight, it's pretty easy.
Well, it's still pretty spooky getting that thing off of there and not having to loosen the line at all. It's a nerve-wracking process.
So the cool part about this this is incredible to have both you guys on tonight. Thank you. And it's incredible to me that both of you guys caught them on the Walleye Nation Creations Reaper. And we've got Brian on because the last one was caught on the McGannon Special. And now this one is caught on the Hunke Hammer.
Brian, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys tonight?
Wonderful. This is where I feel like we're making history. We've got 2 state record walleye caught on 2 baits of the same brand that are named after the 2 owners of the company, and it comes one after another, and it is absolutely unbelievable. Got the McGannon first, and then the Hunke second, and it's a neat deal.
I told Billy the same thing. I'm like, what are the chances? It's got to be astronomical. It's just unbelievable that both our baits, let alone we named them after ourselves,
right?
Just crazy.
And Billy went into the details of why you guys designed it and what the detail behind it is. And, obviously I'm seeing a ton of pictures up there of your baits being used. And they're just, it seems like it's a go-to bait for everybody I'm talking to on the water. And maybe we can ask Keith and Aaron, why do you choose that bait? We heard from Billy last time on why they designed it and how they designed it, but why pick that bait? There's so many options out there. What was it for you as a fisherman that made you decide that the Reaper is the plug we're going to use?
Well, it's a big bait for one. You always want big bait, big fish. Plus, it's purple with a little orange belly, and that's what I've been catching on all summer, all fall. So that's the one I picked, and that's the one that caught it.
Keith, how about you?
I like the dive curve of it. We call it an obnoxious bait. It just pulls through the water real hard. It got a nice wiggle to it, and something about the rattle chamber in that bait is, I don't know, it's bigger. Most crankbaits rattle chambers are more like a tube, I feel, and this rattle chamber is just a whole big compartment in there. And it's like when you're trolling it real slow, it seems like you get a lot more action, a lot more noise coming out of it, and I feel making noise is this key.
So, Brian, is it proprietary stuff there, or can you share with us why yours is different?
Well, I mean, we do. It is a large rattle chamber. I will agree with that. And some people think it's got a tight action. Some people think it's a little wider action. Everybody's got their own opinion of it. We do like the fact that it gets down. We think it's crazy that people, and we did it last when we were up there fishing nationals, is we were snap weighting reapers down there, and it's crazy that you're snap weighting a bait that'll go down 25 to 30 feet, unassisted. But once we got, because we're not used to snap weighting, like Keith said, doing it by yourself, that's crazy. But once you get used to it, and like Keith said too, we did the same thing using live scope and watching our baits and bringing it up over the trees and down through the trees and everything. And of course, as a bait company, we love that everybody's fishing through the trees, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, we know that it's gaining popularity up there, and of course we like that.
Well, I know your sales exploded on Saturday. Saturday at the Dakota Angler Ice Institute, things were a big time buzz. And once it got out that it was a reaper, your sales went through the roof, because there were husbands and wives grabbing reapers like there was no tomorrow. And I don't know that there were very many left, if any, at the end of the day on Sunday. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
And there was a little bit of a rumor, and I worked very hard, and I think Kurt did too. There was a rumor of a third record walleye, the 18.3, 18.4, 18.5. It blew up, and it went through the ice show like wildfire. And then I think it was finally by Sunday morning, I had debunked it and went, nope, not true. And some of the others had said, nah, it's a lie. It didn't happen. And there are still some that say it's out there, but there's no pictures. There's nothing being said. So, Keith, I think you're safe for at least 15 days.
Well,
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, and maybe Aaron, if you've been down there again, Keith feels like it's slowing down. Maybe the fish are moving again. So, I mean, maybe this one will last. Maybe, we agreed that, last time with you, Aaron, that there's 18 plus pounders in there, and Keith tipped the door of that. I think there's some big fish out there, but like we said last time, you still got to catch them.
Right. Yeah. My buddy was down there just a couple days ago, and he had a pretty tough day. So I don't know if it was just the day or if they're moving but yeah, he had a pretty tough day.
Yeah, and he's right about that. You wait, we get on the ice and get into that Mobridge tournament, and someone's going to catch a hog. Whether it's a state record or not, who knows? But what's the water temperature right now, fellas, out there?
40s.
It is. Okay. I was rock hopping tonight, and it was 40 degrees, 40.9 degrees.
Which is crazy, because I was on the water on Saturday down by Spring Creek, and it was 50. So Jesse said 47 he had. So, yeah, you're still hanging there pretty good, but that water temp is going to drop tremendously any day now. it's matter of that lake flipping and getting that to cool down. So we're going to see that lake come down here quite rapidly now. We've had a nice fall. I mean, or almost summer when it was 72 degrees today in Pierre. So, I mean, this record's going to probably, I mean, can't say it will, but it's going to probably last a little while. But like I told Aaron, it doesn't matter. If it gets broke, you still go down in the books as a state record holder. And it's pretty awesome to have it happen back to back in the same area, and even cooler to be on the two reapers named after the two owners.
Yeah, that is so cool. Well, you think about it. You mentioned the Columbia and Andy fishing on the Columbia 10 years ago, 12, 15 years ago. If you wanted to catch a 14 to 16 pound walleye, you had to go to the Columbia to catch those big fish. I remember seeing Seth Burrill catching some of those great big pigs, and now it's happening here at home. And I'm so glad a friend of mine, Jim Edlin, wrote a story about a record walleye in that 18 to 20 pounds. And at the very end, I said, I don't remember him saying a word about Lake Oahe. I don't care where they catch the record as long as it's Lake Oahe. And it's here. And yeah, Andy, you're right. Peck has just been an unbelievable on-fire fishery. But I think finally, doesn't it feel like Oahe's catching up?
Well, place on earth. I mean, I can't find a better place to fish. I've been to Winnipeg, been to Erie. That's not every day when you go out where you expect to go catch a 10-pound walleye, and every day when you go out on Oahe, you got that chance, and you keep it in the back of your mind. It's there.
Dave from Lodge says, "Congrats, Keith. Bring the title back to South Dakota. Maybe a North Dakota, South Dakota challenge is due, Kurt." Little challenge between the states. We'll see how it goes. We'll get Walleye Nations on board on that deal, and we'll see if the Reapers can rip it down. So it's just incredible to see. Like I said, the fishery is hot. I think it's going to continue. The bait is plentiful. You're pulling live scopes. So are you seeing tons of bait? Is that what you're targeting when you're out there?
Yeah, the bait is just insane. I mean, your 2D and down imaging will come across a false bottom because the bait is so thick. I mean, it's just insane.
Wow. And we saw that all summer, down here on the lower end, especially during the Governor's Cup. That couple weeks leading up to the Governor's Cup, guys were just coming in going, it's just bait at miles and miles and miles of bait. And now we're seeing, and it's always been a thing up there for the last couple of years that the bait has been tough up there. So hats off to GFMP for stocking, because I think it's working.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm not going to argue with you there. I'm just pleased as punch and amazed at how this fishery is doing, because we struggled for quite a while. I think this year as a whole, wouldn't you say this year was better than we've had in a handful of years at least?
Yeah, I personally would. Keith, I read one thing that you've been doing this for, maybe Aaron too, but you've been doing this for 4 or 5 years going up there this time of year. Are you seeing better numbers come out or just bigger fish?
I have never seen the fish move this far north so fast. Usually we're hanging out around Sutton Bay, Whitlock at this time of year. It seems like where the big fish are. I've never seen them at Akaska so early. I mean, because they showed up there early October is when we started beating on them up there. And I was like, I don't know. The herring seems like it hit a roadblock. It went up there, hits the moral, and it stopped. And it's so much herring up there.
So what's the water level right now?
I want to say it's up probably maybe about 10 foot from last year.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going down from what it was this summer, which, I've got people that call me and are, going, oh, they're dropping the lake again. And personally, I feel, this time of year, go ahead and lower that lake. As long as you bring it up in the spring when they're on, when the hatch is going on, and, get some more vegetation on the shoreline to hold the bait and the fry. It's just good for the system.
Yeah, true.
So it's just an incredible deal. Ryan, you've been all over, you fished all over. Have you been up here? Have you guys gotten up here and pulled your reapers out and pulled some magic colors out yet? Or
we were just talking today. We might have to try and get up there, and now they're saying it's slowing down, so maybe not.
Well, you have probably secret weapon reapers in the box that nobody knows about that you can bring with you.
We may have some colors that aren't out there.
Well, I got a feeling for the next couple of years anyways, you can just keep making the McGannons and the Hunke Hammer, and I don't think you need to worry about any other colors for a while.
Yeah, yeah, true. I'm sure, I don't remember if Billy said it, but yeah, when we come out, we finally decided a few years back that we wanted to name a bait after ourselves. Why not? We're the only two, we're the whole company. So we came up with the names and the colors and stuff. So it's just unbelievable that Aaron and Keith were using them, caught them on one of each, and it's just mind blowing.
It's a great story.
So is there a little back and forth in the shop that mine caught a bigger one than yours?
Oh, funny. I was actually in a deer stand Saturday and got a call from a guy up there. You probably know him, Cody Rader. And he said, hey, did you hear? And I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, Billy's not going to be very happy. And I said, why is that? And he goes, the Hunke Hammer beat the record. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I had no idea. I've been sitting in a deer stand all day, and he sends me a picture, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And so, of course, I right away tell Billy, and he says the same thing. You're joking. And I'm like, no, I think it's true. So it was crazy.
Isn't that something? Look at those two fish. I'll tell you what, fellas, congratulations to you both. You both have state records. Of course, Keith, you get to hang on to the current record for now, but Aaron, you've always got that state record, and it's going to be a great family story.
Yep, for sure.
So Andy says, it's gone.
Oh, I got it.
He says, hope the state can maintain this kind of trophy potential on Oahe. There are a million places to catch 16-inch eaters, but teener potential exists only in a few places in all of North America. Isn't that the truth? You got the Columbia, you got Peck, you got Lake Oahe, you got Lakes of Kakawea, and I would guess New York too. Yeah, Andy's right. That is a special fish. That is, I guess I never did a search to see how many 17. I didn't know Aaron Rodgers was. Are you kidding me? He took time away from the Jets to watch this.
What do you mean? This is a different Aaron Rodgers, but that Aaron Rodgers has nothing but time on his hand.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, you know what? What a magic night. It's been great to have you, Hunter. Thanks for watching. It's great to have you guys here, all three of you, to take some time out on a Wednesday night and join us for Between Hook Sets. It's truly an honor to have all three of you on and make history for the outdoor world and the fishing industry. You, all four of you, have done a fantastic job. Bill's not on with us, but he was on a couple of weeks ago. So hats off to all of you. Keep those big fish coming.
We're going to keep trying.
Well, I hope so. I hope there's no quit.
So I guess I got one more question for Keith, because I asked Aaron this when his was in the fridge for 2 days and he didn't know, but you knew you had the potential. Then you had to sit and wait till Monday. What was that Saturday to Monday like?
I was waiting for text messages to come in that another big one came in, because there's a 25-incher out there, and I'd hate to know what she weighs.
Oh my. So true. You know what, Jesse, you got a great idea there. Obviously it's going to have to be something really cool, because you can't just name it Aaron or name it Keith. But I guess we'll leave that up to Brian and Bill to come up with a name for a couple of baits, and I would guess maybe each of you could design your own color.
And Jesse, if you're asking what the colors were the names of the lures. It was Walleye Nation Creation Reaper. Aaron's fish came off the McGinn, and Keith's fish came off of the Hunke Hammer. So I don't know which way he was asking that, but I do like the idea of naming a bait after the 2 state record holders.
That would be awesome.
Yep, I think that's fantastic. Now,
well, thank you guys so much for joining. It's been a pleasure. It's incredible to see this happen so quickly. Aaron, sorry, but you're still a state record holder. You will always go down the books as a state record holder. Keith, Aaron's probably sitting back going, come on, a few more days and his is getting broken.
I'm going to break it. I'm going to go get me another one.
There you go. That would be history in the making too. That would be historic. You keep at it. You keep trying to catch the big walleye and hang another one on the wall. If your wife will let you, Keith.
Yeah.
I don't know about this one yet. If she's gonna let it go in the living room or the bedroom.
I love that post. My wife said no more fish in the wall. That's the record. Joke's on you. That was my favorite post you put out there.
I think my favorite picture was of your daughter going out with you the next day, hoping to break your record.
I don't think she slept at all that night before. She was so excited to get out there with me. She was so mad she didn't go on Saturday because she had stuff going on. And she goes up. We were up at 5 a.m, heading up there.
Fantastic.
Do you have any plans of going this weekend, or are you going deer hunting?
No, we're going back up there.
I don't blame you. I wish I could be there too.
I won't be alone though. For some reason, my boat's filling up a lot quicker now.
Yeah, I bet you there's quite a few guys calling saying, "I'll ride."
Not to mention they're looking for your boat so they can follow you.
It ain't hard.
I guess the one thing that was put on Facebook is everybody thought you broke down coming in that early.
Well, I seen Troy Guzman sitting there, he's putting his boat in, and I was coming out. I mean, it was 8:45 in the morning. I mean, the ramp was busy as hell. And everybody's like, why is this guy holding up the damn ramp coming in?
For good reason, no doubt.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Nobody knows you very well because even if the boat was broke, you'd have figured out a way to stay out there.
That is no joke.
As long as you can get to shore.
Well, guys, thanks for your time tonight. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing both of you guys down the road. Brian, thank you. Thanks for creating such a spectacular bait, you and Bill, to make history. I think it truly is something. I would like to know any other company out there that has 2 state records on their lures, because I don't know if there's any.
I do know the PK Lures has 2 world records, and maybe we'll talk to Kurt Reef about that at some point. So we were just talking about that, and I remember the 2011 and 2015 world records that were caught on PK Lures. So I think that's a pretty cool deal. Sorry, don't mean to steal a little bit of the thunder there, but it has happened one time before in their world record. So pretty neat deal. Just got to give them a shout out.
Well, thank you guys. We'll see you guys soon. Keith, we'll be seeing you here pretty shortly on the ice when we start our ice tournament. So
absolutely. Everybody get in that tournament.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Soon.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Good night.
Oh, yeah,